Okay, guys, am I audible on the web? Fine then. Okay. Are you seeing any advantages of cloud in your personal life? Can you tell some of them? Google Drive and Prime Video, Netflix. ఇంతకు ముందు సినిమాలు అంత ఈజీగా చూడగలిగే వాళ్ళమా? మిస్ అయిపోయిన సీరియల్ కూడా చూసుకోవచ్చు. యా, హౌ ఆర్ ఆల్ ఆఫ్ దట్ వర్కింగ్? దే ఆర్ ఆల్ ఫ్రమ్ cloud. Okay, but let me try to tell you what is the relevance of cloud in enterprise. Our need was pen drive or some storage. For that, what we used to do is we used to carry a USB drive of 4 GB, 16 GB, or whatever it is. Now we are not doing that. We basically go to the Google Drive, we store everything there, and whenever we want that storage, we basically connect using internet and we get that those whatever data which we have stored. So did we successfully eliminated the need for hardware? Yes, for yourself at least. మీరు పెన్ డ్రైవ్లు కొంటాం ఆపేశారుగా. That's someone else is but you as a user have stopped purchasing a pen drive. Yes or no? Yes. Even in car entertainment systems now we have Android based infotainment where you can use the same Google Drives or whatever it is, right? So you have eliminated the need for hardware and you are not maintaining that anymore. You are not doing right click on it, format, దీంట్లో వైరస్ వచ్చేసింది. You don't do all of that anymore, right? So this is exactly what your companies want, but their need is just not pen drive. Their needs are more. Their needs are more. If you have ever walked into the data center which your organization maintains, it is a very huge room with hell lot of servers and in it, and lot of people monitoring it, right? It has too much cost. Okay, let me tell you one simple example. Before this cloud or before this kind of environments came into play, let us assume you are a startup and you want to build some application. You have to buy hell lot of servers first, so which is called as capex, initial capital investment. And after that, to maintain that servers, you have to basically run through some of the costs, which is also called as operating costs, opex and all that, right? So now you don't need all of that. You just go to the Amazon or Azure or any cloud for that matter, create an account there, tell what is that you want, and you will get that immediately. Here you are saving on two things. One is you are not doing huge expenditure, and second things is you are trying to create anything on demand. Whenever you want, you are creating it. Whenever you don't want, you are deleting it. Okay, and the bill is much like electricity bill. Okay, if you use more, you will get more bill. If you don't use, right, you will not get the bill. That's basically what it is, right? So this is exactly what many industries or many companies are basically willing to use. Okay, that's where the whole need for the cloud came into play. Okay, but let me tell you a small story of Amazon, how Amazon has started all of this. Okay, we all know Amazon was a book selling website initially, and then they have become a e-commerce giant in US. And after they became a e-commerce giant in US, okay, we all know about Paradise Hotels in Hyderabad. Initially we used to have only one Paradise Hotel in Secunderabad, right? Now, so any company at some point what they do is they basically they expand their operations. So Amazon was also going through the same phase. They had operations in US, they wanted to have the same operations across the globe, but Amazon, to run their servers, they had loads and loads of server needs. So what Amazon was trying to do was Amazon was trying to build data centers. And then there was one person, and I'm quite sure you know who Jeff Bezos is. He's the richest man on the planet, and the best part is he has the richest divorce recently. ఇప్పుడు వరకు ఎవడో పే చేయనంత డివోర్స్ అమౌంట్ కట్టాడు. Right, fine. So to him, one person named as Jeff Bar Walks, and he tries to tell that. So we are trying to go to the other countries and we are trying to build the whole infrastructure. At some point, some other companies also would like to do this, and they will rebuild this. Whatever we are doing right now, they will also want to redo this. Okay, are you not seeing a business opportunity in this, where we can sell this model? Let us put some more servers and start giving that other users an option to use our servers. This was the initial point where the whole discussion of cloud came into play. Till that point, it was just on books, saying that you can do this, you can do that, and all that stuff. And what Amazon has done is, Amazon has first released a service which is called as S3, simple storage service. And if you remember, I'm not sure how for the freshers or people who are 1 or 2 year experience, you might not know this, but few years ago we had an application called as Dropbox. That was the first application which, when you created an account, gave us 1 GB of free storage. Okay, if you are using Dropbox, you are not actually using Dropbox, you are actually using Amazon's S3, because Dropbox was nothing but an application. When you upload anything, it was not storing in Dropbox, it was storing in Amazon's S3. So this is how Amazon came into operations. Amazon has one advantage over Microsoft and Google. That advantage is, the first customer of Amazon is Amazon itself. Amazon's first customer is Amazon. AWS's first customer is Amazon. So all the Amazon shopping sites completely in AWS. Amazon Prime Video from AWS, right? Amazon's, you take any Amazon product, it is on AWS. So they basically build the applications for their needs first, and then they expose it as a service. And we have very big names in Amazon. For example, I'm quite sure everyone is aware of Netflix now. Netflix completely runs out of Amazon, right? So this is a basic flow. And now Amazon is very strong at some places, not so strong at some places. Amazon is #1 cloud in terms of number of users using it, but that doesn't mean that it is good at everything. Amazon also has strengths and also has weaknesses. Okay, so and generally when someone goes to Amazon, they go to Amazon because of its strength, not because of its weaknesses. So whenever you are looking at your career also, you should build on those strengths, not really on weaknesses. Okay, so for example, some companies use Hadoop on Amazon, but if you really want to use Hadoop, go to Google Cloud. Google Cloud has the best cloud for Hadoop infrastructure, right? You want to run the Active Directory, go for Azure, right? So now these days companies have started doing that. They are not sending everything to one cloud, they are sending things to multiple clouds now, right? Active Directory in Azure cloud, right? The databases from Amazon, and then Hadoop infrastructure on Google Cloud. It is all possible now. Earlier it was very difficult and it was challenging. Now it is not the case, right? So, and one more thing is, once you learn one cloud, learning other cloud is not that difficult. You have to understand the differences and similarities, right? So if you learn Azure, it is easy to learn Amazon also. In the same way, if you learn Amazon, it is easy to learn Azure and Google also, right? So there is no need for you to learn every cloud for that matter. All right, okay. So Amazon has a lot of jobs, yeah, but one thing we need to understand is, Amazon has a lot of jobs, and Amazon is used by a lot of companies from many days. So our standard for preparation has to be one level above. ఓకే, అమెజాన్లో ఉద్యోగాలు ఉన్నాయి, డౌటే లేదు. ఓకే, అలాగే అమెజాన్లో పనిచేసే వాళ్ళు కూడా చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. If whenever you are learning Amazon, you should always be one step above than what others are. Then only you will become competent. So let me give you one example. Any cloud will give you a website to work with it. Amazon also gives it. That is something which we call as console. Many people learn using Amazon only from console. Only from console. And you join an organization and they will say that you are not allowed to use console, you are supposed to use CLI. Okay, and if you have watched the Sholay movie, right, we have Sanjay Kapoor there, right? Sanjay Kapoor in పేరు రెండు చేతులు ఉండవు. Yeah, so దగ్గరగా అలాగే అయిపోతుంది మన పరిస్థితి. Then we need Amitabh Bachchan and Dharmendra to save us. Okay, so let us not do that. So whenever we are learning cloud, there are 3 operating modes. Actually 4, at least 3 we need to learn. One is UI based, the other one is CLI based, the third one is template based. And we will be learning all the 3. We'll learn how to use Amazon from cloud. We'll learn how to use Amazon cloud from CLI. We'll also learn how to use Amazon cloud from templating tool. And this templating tool is something which is called as cloud, which is called as cloud formation. Clear on this? Right. So whenever companies want to use Amazon, will they start redoing everything in Amazon? Will they already have something and they want to use Amazon? They'll, in majority of the cases, companies already will have applications and they want to use Amazon, right? So for majority of the companies, the journey starts with server migrations. First, they have something. They want to first at least ensure that whatever they have in their offices is running on Amazon, and then they start reworking on the other areas. Yes. So this is where we are going to start our Amazon's journey. From tomorrow onwards, our motive in this classroom is how do I migrate servers which are already existing into Amazon? And there are jobs only on this. Only on server migrations, there are jobs. So if you learn this effectively, even after 15 days, you can apply a resume. And if the company is looking out for server migrations, you can get the job. It has happened couple of times in our classes itself. Couple of batches ago, there was one student who have just finished server migration. He has tried that, okay, let me see if I'll get a job or not. He was able to qualify for the interview of server migration and he's now working in. His full day job is server migrations. Okay, but I'll not say that is the right choice. Okay, but I'll definitely say that there is an opportunity. There is an opportunity. Am I clear on this? Right? Okay. So we need to learn many things to work with cloud. Okay. So just now I think I've given you an example of pen drive. Okay. You have eliminated the need for pen drive and you're using Google Drive. But Google will have hardware, yes or no? Otherwise, where is your data being stored? Now, Amazon also will have hardware, right? Yes. So how is this hardware? Okay, we should not call it as hardware anymore. We should call it as infrastructure. How is Amazon organizing this whole infrastructure? Okay, so the best part is Amazon has made our life simple. Okay, let me basically call as this is Amazon's infrastructure. So let us make the first initial things easier. Amazon, what it does is first on this planet, it will try to identify one location, and that location they call it as region. They'll call as region. Okay. So what is the region now? Region is a location that is identified by Amazon. In India, they have identified Mumbai. Okay. That is just a name. It doesn't have anything. Okay. And then are you seeing these 3 blue dots? Okay. So those are called as availability zones. Those are called as availability zones. So for example, to understand this availability zones, the most easiest way is we all know about Infosys in Hyderabad. Infosys in Hyderabad has 2 campuses. One in Gachibowli, the other one in Pochara. Right? Same thing. Amazon is a region which is present in Mumbai. But in Mumbai, they have 3 campuses. Just like that. We should not call it as a campus. We should call it as availability zone. Right? The basic stuff is from one availability zone to other availability zone. Okay. They will be at least 30 to 60 kilometers far away from each other. One availability zone to other availability zone, 30 to 60 kilometers far away from each other. And availability zone is a place where you have your data centers. Amazon will be having huge data centers over here, right? So you go to any region. So if you see North Virginia, how many we have? We have 6 availability zones. They will at least have 2. They will at least have 2, more than 1 zone, right? In majority of the cases, what we have is we have 3 availability zones. Okay, right. So am I clear on this now? So we have region and every region will have Availability zones. Actually, where is your data centers? In availability zones. Region is just a name. Region is just a name. So for example, in India, we have Mumbai, but Mumbai doesn't mean anything. The availability zones in Mumbai is actually where you have your, clear on this? Okay. And each availability zone, if you see, is connected to other availability zone by two links, uplink and downlink, if you're basically, and they have very high speed network connectivity. Clear on that? Yes. So in Amazon, what is that we have? We have regions, and every region will have availability zones. And actually, your hardware, whatever you are trying to do, is present in availability zones. Now, if you see this availability zone, this is almost at a seashore. And if some floods come into play, this might go down. Yes. I'm just giving you an example, right? If this goes down, I might run my application from here. I might run my application from here. So this multi-zone concept is to avoid failures. Remember in Chennai we had floods, data centers were down and all of that stuff. But if I had availability zones, then if my application is not running in zone A, I'll be moving it to zone B, or I'll be rerunning my application at zone B, right? So rather than really shutting down my application, let us assume Book My Show is running from here. So what I'll do is I'll run one Book My Show server here and one Book My Show server over here. So even if this is down, I have one more server which is running in the same availability. So even in the cases of disasters, you have some sort of connectivity. Do we understand region and availability zone now? Yes. Okay. Right. And are you seeing this point of presence, this pink dots? Okay. So we have one in Hyderabad. Okay. One in Mumbai, Bangalore, the other one in Chennai, and one in Hyderabad. What is this point of presence location? Okay. You're all watching Amazon Prime videos, right? Quite recently, Venki Mama came into play. Yeah. Right. And I was watching that movie. Right. So if I'm watching that movie, where is that movie stored? It might be uploaded somewhere in US. So if I'm watching that movie from Hyderabad, basically what happens? Every time the packets or the movie has to be downloaded in parts from US to Hyderabad in at my home. Will it be fast? No. So what is the option to make it fast? Have the copy of that movie at multiple different sites. If I'm accessing from Hyderabad, try to play the movie from my nearest location. Yes or no? Okay. Exactly for that purpose, we have point of presence servers. Am I clear on that? So if I'm using Amazon Prime from Hyderabad, my movie is also in Hyderabad. Yeah, because it is in Hyderabad we have point of presence locations. Am I clear on this? Right? So what is the point of presence locations first purpose? They are called as content delivery networks. Okay, in content delivery networks, generally what happens is you have videos, and rather than watching the video from the original server, you have point of presence servers. This is where it will be. That is the first use case. Now let us assume that I have a company in Hyderabad and my company is using Amazon Cloud. My company is using Amazon Cloud. And whatever I do, every time it has to connect to Amazon Cloud. So when I want to connect to Amazon Cloud for everything, it will go via internet. Yes. But will internet be faster? No. Internet will not be faster. So how do I solve this problem? So what Amazon says is, let me show you this. Are you seeing this wire across the globe? This whole wire? Yeah. So this sounds like internet, right? But actually it is not internet. This is a network cable which is basically maintained and created by Amazon for Amazon. In network cable anni vallu vesniya. They have established all of these lines across the seas throughout the world. Okay. So this is Amazon's network. This is not internet. Okay. To be very specific, they call it as a global network, but the actual term for that is backbone network. So Amazon has its own backbone network. And what is the traffic that uses this? Only Amazon. Only Amazon. It is a very high speed line. Okay. Now let us come back to India case. Okay. My office is in Hyderabad. And if I want to connect to my data center quickly, if I connect to this network, can I connect it quickly? Yes. Yes. So what I'll do is, let us assume my office is in Pocharam. From Pocharam to this point of presence locations, I'll take a leased line from Airtel or Vodafone. So what it will do is, my office will be connected to point of presence location. And from that, I am connected to global network. If I connect to global network, my data will be very fast. Okay. And anyway, from my office to this point of presence server, I am taking a leased line, which will also be faster. I am not using internet, but I am able to reach Amazon. Okay. This is another purpose of it. So point of presence servers will have two purposes. One is your Prime Video scenario, okay, to stream the content. Second is for your offices to connect to this global network so that you can use Amazon's network for whatever applications which you are running. Am I clear on this? So Amazon has regions and POP locations. In majority of the cases, we deal with regions. Point of presence servers are to improve your connectivity. To improve your connectivity. Clear on this? And then we have a global network. Global network is a whole network cable which was basically laid down by Amazon so that it connects every region, every point of presence location. So if you see, it connects every region. So if you want to copy a data from one region to other region also, it will not take too much time because you are not using internet. Okay. Internet is unpredictable. I am not saying it is not fast. It is unpredictable, right? But whereas this is a predictable line because it is maintained and created by Amazon for Amazon. Clear on this? Sounds interesting? Yeah. So now, will our company be able to do this? ఇంత నెట్వర్క్ లైన్ మన కంపెనీ వాళ్ళు ఏమంటే ఎత్తారా? వెంటనే బయటికి ఎంటేస్తారు. But with Amazon, by the way, it is not only for Amazon. Azure has it, Google also has it. They have also laid their own networks. These three clouds have their own networking lines, right? And Facebook is also building one backbone network, okay, for their purposes. But very few companies can spend this much of amounts on this kind of infrastructure. Okay, so rather than recreating it, we'll learn how to use it. Yeah. So do we understand regions? Do we understand zones? Do we understand what a global network is? Do we understand what a point of presence is? Yeah. Right. Similarly, there are many other things to learn in cloud. Okay, I'll not go very much deeper today, but are we able to understand something? Right. So in cloud, you have to learn too many things. Right. So because on cloud, what is that you are supposed to do? Your company's applications have to run. For applications to run, what is that we need? We need network first, and then we need servers. In that servers, we need to install software, and then they need to communicate with each other, right? And they will be present on some region or some availability zone which is present over here. So how do you basically expose it to your customers? This is the whole journey of ours, right? So, but we'll be starting our journey in a very simple note, with the first step which majority of the organizations do. How do I migrate my existing servers into Amazon? Am I clear on this? Right. So let me see if I have any questions. Are those physical cables? Yes, sir. Those are all physical cables. So you have YouTube videos also. So if you basically look into, there are interesting videos. What Microsoft has done was, Microsoft has taken one data center's cabin, and they have thrown it in the sea. There are computers that are running. It is already connected, and they are trying to tell that the cabin which is underneath the sea is using less energy. Okay, I don't need too much of AC because it is already decent enough there. Okay, and for cooling purposes, they are doing very decent innovations. I'm not sure how many of you follow that, but right now, if you see, we use magnetic discs, we use HDDs, right now there is a new patent that has came which is called as optical disc. You will have some addam laga untadi, mirror kind of stuff, in which you can store information, right? So I've seen one more video that is also basically where it says that servers, right, we'll have a rack. In the rack, we'll have servers in a very cool AC room and all of that stuff. But what Microsoft has done recently is, they have taken an aquarium, the fish tank where we have, and they are putting servers inside that. They have built the chips in such a way that they are waterproof. Okay, and they're trying to tell that they're consuming less energy. So these guys are not only basically creating this infrastructure, they are making less carbon footprint. So that they're trying to make it green and all of that stuff, right? Loads and loads of innovations happening in that area, right? Yes. Okay, fine. Now I want to define two terms which we will always see, right? One is service, the other one is resource. Okay, so if you go to the Amazon, from Amazon you can do many things. Yes. So for that, Amazon has to give you some options. So for example, I want a virtual machine. Amazon says that I give you something called as EC2. I want to create a database. Amazon says that you can use something called as RDS. I want to use a storage. Amazon says that use S3. Okay, so Amazon is giving you some offerings. Whatever Amazon gives you is called as service. Is called as service. Using that service, you will create something. So for example, I created a virtual machine using EC2. That is resource. So whatever you create is a resource. Whatever cloud is offering you is a service. Simple. So there is actually a different technical definition for it. But let us. It is not about by hearting the definitions. It is about understanding it. Okay. So whatever cloud is offering you is a service, and whatever you create is a resource. And you will see lot of times whenever you read about cloud, a term called as data center, a term called as service, and a term called as resource. Very often. Okay. So now do we understand these three things now? Data source, service, and a resource. Right. Okay then. So this website details are infrastructure.aws. You can go and play with that. Infrastructure.aws. If you Google, you will get the whole stuff. Right. Now let me speak about our journey into cloud. What is that we are